Hey folks, I bought a pair of these Govee temperature and humidity sensors. They're nice and tiny, but I don't think they are waterproof where you can leave them outside under the elements. Naturally, I want one in the hoop house and one outside, so then as the temperature cools for the winter and I try to passively warm the hoop house and make sure it doesn't fall below freezing, I want to know how much difference in temperature I'm getting the hoop house between the outside and the inside. So consequently, I need to have one of these outside under the elements. So I'm going to show you what to do. But first, we need to hang the one for inside. And when you look at the hoop house, you want to make sure you don't have a seam where water can drip through, or if you have a tear in the ceiling. But also you see here, the screw is rusty. That one there, this one, well, water can come in through here. So I want to make sure I hang it where it won't be rusty, and also not right at the edge, because that's going to be the coldest, although that would be a good thing actually, so I make sure the edge doesn't get freezing, or not at the ceiling where all the heat rises and everything. So I want it in a balanced area. So I'm actually going to put it around close to the edge along the rim of the hoop house. And if that doesn't work, I'll try somewhere else. So that's where I'm going to hang the one for the inside. Now for the outside, I need to place this in a position where it's not going to be damaged by the elements. For that, I have a box, and the box has a lid, which I don't really need per se, although I will be using it. And I basically want an enclosure like this, so it's still getting the air circulation for the humidity, as well as not being overly heated from the sun with the white box, although I really want it for early morning when it's the coldest time of the day. So essentially, I bought one of these things off Amazon where I had to screw this in, and I have a stake where I can stand it, and it's to support a plant. But it's not going to sit put. You know, it'll be like this, and then the wind may come, carry it, lift it off if it's a very high wind. So what I'm going to do is take this lid. You see how there's a part that sits in there? So we know that's the right width, and I'm going to take the box cutter, and I'm going to cut that piece out. Good thing I have a makeshift trash can down there, but now I have all this styrofoam in here. So it pays to have a sharper box cutter. So now I have this piece of styrofoam, which if I put in here, I won't be able to pull out easily. But I'm going to take the stake and probably about there. Let me see. If I have it like that, yep. So I'm going to take the stake and run it through here. Try not to poke my finger. That's good. So then I have it like this. So this will be like that. But how am I going to hang it? I need another hole, and I'll put one right around here. So for that, I just need to take the box cutter and cut a slit. Now, if you want to, you could actually use a drill. So then I have this piece like that, and I'm going to run, I don't need that piece of styrofoam. So I'm going to run this through here. Now, what's interesting is when I was planting some figs a while back early in the year, I dug up and uncovered this tool. It's still functional, but I use it as a point poker if I'm running a stem into soil. So I can actually poke this in here to get it through. And I need to grab it so it doesn't fall out. So I have that. I have this. Make sure it gets hooked on. And now I can run this through there. So it's a little too wide to go to the very end, so I'm going to try. That was my planting table, still is. Yeah, there we go. I'm forcing it in without breaking the outer box. So now, when I look at it, it's hanging too far down. So I need this raised up. So now I have to modify this so I can throw that tape away. And I don't know how I can get this out without affecting it. So I'm going to have to figure this out. There we go. That worked. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to run the string around to the other side. So now you see this, it's lifted it up a little more, and I'm just going to eyeball this, and now it's still a little too high. So what I need to do is take this, and it came from that side, running it here to there. So now, as it goes down, it's even higher up. It's still too low, especially with this piece. So I'm just going to have to, oh, the weave got loose, and we don't want that. I'm going to lift this up as far as I can. And I want it to go, I'm just going to have to play with this until I can get it as high as I need. We want to make sure it's not going to drop over time. So we have that like this, and I threw away that piece of tape. So plan B, let me show you a secret to how you can mitigate that. I'm going to get this out of the way for now, and we're simply going to tie a knot halfway up. Now, the reason why I thought to do this is because when I'm tying off weather balloons, as I release them, I like to tell people, so I have this part-time, I call it my fun job in addition to my full-time job. So I have this part-time fun job where I'm essentially releasing weather balloons for the National Weather Service. And I don't work directly for the National Weather Service, but for a private company contracted for the Weather Service. So I like to say that I'm a creationist contracted out to NOAA. So anyway, now that I have this, I have that tied, so I have a lot of slack cuts. So you see how much higher it is. So when I put this up, it's concealed. So now I can put this back in. Stand this back up there. And that is how it looks. And now I can take it outside, stake it in the ground, and it will rattle a bit. I may eventually, I could put something as padding, you know, if the wind's moving, I don't want it to bang. So I could do that on this. Something like tying just a piece of bag, or better yet, take you a couple strips of self-adhesive craft foam, stick them to the stake on the inside so it acts as a little padding. Or you design it where the stake is on one side and the piece hangs on the other side. I considered that, but I wanted the stake as close as I could to the center, and it's not quite, but I don't want it to like wobble and be affected if there's heavy wind. So while this can handle up to a 99% relative humidity according to the booklet, you don't want to submerge it in water, so that's what it says. So this should provide protection. So then I can test the weather out, or the temperature and humidity outside compared to inside, and I'm more concerned about the temperature in the middle of winter. So if it dips down into the teens, am I going to be able to keep it still above freezing in the hoop house? So that is what I made this for, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and happy planting.